The massive alien ship appeared over New York without warning. Its dark metal hull stretched across the sky like an angry storm cloud, casting shadows over the frightened city below. Inside the United Nations building, world leaders gathered in emergency session as screens lit up with the face of Ambassador Reed, Earth's representative to the Galactic Council. They're demanding what? President Thompson's voice echoed through the chamber. Reed's hologram flickered as he spoke. The Galactic Council has issued an ultimatum. Earth must provide tribute within 30 days, specifically, they want 10% of our global resources including rare metals, water, and petroleum reserves. The chamber erupted in outrage. The Chinese premier slammed his fist on the table while other leaders shouted protests. Only General Mark Williams remained silent, his weathered face deep in thought as he studied the data streaming across his tablet. "And if we refuse?" asked the British Prime Minister. Reed's expression grew grim. "They've made it clear, either we pay the tribute, or Earth will face immediate expulsion from the Galactic Trade Alliance. We'd lose access to all alien technology and medical advances. They might even impose a full blockade." The room fell silent. Humanity had only joined the galactic community 5 years ago, but they'd already grown dependent on alien tech. Their medical innovations had cured several forms of cancer. Their faster-than-light drives had opened up the solar system. Losing it all would be devastating. But General Williams had noticed something interesting in the Council's official demands. He stood up slowly, his voice cutting through the tense silence. "Ambassador Reed, does the Council's ultimatum specify exactly what form this tribute must take?" Reed blinked in surprise. "No, they simply stated 10% of Earth's valuable resources with a list of suggested materials." A slight smile crossed the general's face. "Then I believe I have a solution. One that will teach the Council not to underestimate humanity." The other leaders turned to him with mixture of curiosity and desperation. The general activated his own holographic display, showing a heavily guarded facility deep in the Nevada desert. "What most of the Council doesn't know is that we've been quietly gathering our own valuable resources over the past 5 years. Resources that technically belong to various Council races." He tapped his screen, bringing up images of holding cells containing some of the galaxy's most notorious criminals, alien pirates, smugglers, and terrorists who had tried to take advantage of Earth's supposedly primitive defenses. The Council has a massive bounty out on each of these prisoners. Together, they're worth far more than 10% of Earth's physical resources. And technically, they are our resources since we captured them in our territory. President Thompson leaned forward, understanding dawning on his face. "You're suggesting we hand over these criminals as our tribute?" "Exactly. We'll be following their demand to the letter while simultaneously showing them that humanity isn't as helpless as they assumed. These prisoners are proof that we can defend ourselves, and that we're clever enough to find loopholes in their diplomatic threats." A slow smile spread across Ambassador Reed's face. The Council prides itself on precise legal language. They won't be able to refuse without admitting they were trying to bully us. And when the other races learn how many of their criminals we've captured, they'll think twice before trying to push us around again, General Williams finished. The room filled with murmurs of approval as the leaders began to see the elegance of the plan. It would satisfy the Council's demands while sending a clear message: humanity wouldn't be easily intimidated. President Thompson stood. "All in favor?" The vote was unanimous. As the leaders dispersed to set the plan in motion, General Williams remained behind, studying the massive alien ship through the chamber's windows. Soon they would learn what humans had known for centuries: sometimes the best tribute wasn't gold or oil or precious metals. Sometimes, the most valuable tribute was a lesson in humility. Deep within the Nevada facility, General Williams walked through the high-security prison block with Director Adams, their footsteps echoing off the reinforced walls. Each cell they passed contained a different alien criminal, secured behind energy fields that hummed with barely contained power. "How many prisoners do we have in total?" Williams asked, pausing to observe a particularly dangerous-looking creature with metallic scales and 4 arms. The alien glared back with its 3 red eyes. 78 high-value targets, Adams replied, consulting her tablet. "The most valuable is in Block D, the infamous Blue Star pirate who's been terrorizing Council trade routes for decades. The Council's bounty on him alone is worth more than what they're demanding from Earth." Williams nodded. "And they have no idea we captured him 6 months ago?" "None. We've kept all these captures quiet, just as you ordered. The Council thinks these criminals simply disappeared. They assumed their own forces scared them away from this sector." They reached the control room, where technicians monitored banks of screens showing every cell. The room buzzed with activity as staff prepared for the massive prisoner transfer. "The transport ships are ready," a young lieutenant reported. "We've modified them with our own security systems. No chance of any escapes during transit." Williams smiled. "Good. The Council's going to get quite a shock when they see what their primitive humans have been up to." Meanwhile, in orbit, Ambassador Reed was aboard the Council's flagship for final negotiations. The ship's interior was designed to intimidate, with towering ceilings and ornate decorations showing the Council's power across the galaxy. Reed kept his face neutral as he faced the Council's representative, a tall alien named High Commander Dox. "You claim Earth has prepared its tribute?" Dox's translator conveyed his skeptical tone. "That was, surprisingly quick." "Earth understands its obligations," Reed replied carefully. "We've prepared a delivery that exceeds the requested value." "Exceeds?" Dox's upper appendages twitched in surprise. "How could your primitive world possibly dash?" A human technician burst into the chamber, interrupting Dox. "Sir, we're detecting multiple launches from Earth's surface." Dox rushed to the viewing screen, his alien features contorting in alarm as he watched dozens of ships rising through Earth's atmosphere. Each one was clearly marked with Earth's flag and universal prisoner transport symbols. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded. Reed allowed himself a small smile. "Our tribute, of course. As per your demands, valuable resources currently in Earth's possession." The screen filled with transmission data as each transport ship broadcast its prisoner manifest. Dox's eyes widened as he read the names and bounties. His color changed from deep blue to pale gray, a sign of shock in his species. The Blue Star Pirate? The Centauri Smuggler King? The Ghost Fleet Raiders? Impossible. Our best forces couldn't catch them. Yet Earth's primitive defenses managed just fine, Reed said calmly. We've been quietly protecting our solar system while the Council assumed we were helpless. Each of these criminals entered our space thinking we'd be easy targets. They learned otherwise. Back on Earth, General Williams watched the transport ships ascend on radar. Each one carried proof of humanity's capabilities, proof that would soon shake the Council's assumptions about Earth. In her cell, Director Adams approached the Blue Star Pirate. "Time to go," she announced, activating the transport protocols. The alien criminal snarled but couldn't resist as the energy field shifted, preparing him for transfer. "The humans," he growled in his native tongue, which Adams' translator rendered perfectly. "You're not the savages they told us you were." "No," Adams agreed. "That was your first mistake. Soon the whole galaxy will know their mistake too." As the prisoners were loaded into transport ships, Williams received a message from Reed aboard the Council ship. The ambassador's hologram was trying hard not to grin. "You should see their faces," Reed reported. "The Council's already calculating the total bounty value. It's nearly triple what they demanded in resources. And legally, they have to accept it." Williams confirmed. Their own laws require them to take custody of any captured criminals when presented. They're trapped by their own regulations, and their own arrogance. Williams looked out at the launch platforms, where the last transport ships were preparing for takeoff. Send them a message from Earth, Ambassador. What should it say? Tell them, we trust this tribute meets with the Council's approval. And should they ever need help catching more galactic criminals, Earth is always happy to assist our more advanced allies. The sarcasm in that last part wasn't subtle, but Williams figured the Council deserved it. As the ships disappeared into the sky, he knew the galaxy was about to learn an important lesson: never underestimate the species you're trying to bully. Especially when that species has been quietly turning your criminals into bargaining chips. The Council's emergency session erupted into chaos as the prisoner manifest scrolled across the massive display screens. Representatives from 30 different alien species argued in their native tongues, their translator devices creating a cacophony of overlapping voices. High Commander Dox stood at the center of the storm, his gray color now tinged with red, a sign of both embarrassment and anger. Order. The Council will have order. The Blue Star Pirate's image dominated one screen, along with his list of crimes and total bounty. Other screens showed the faces of notorious criminals that the Council's forces had hunted unsuccessfully for years. All captured by the supposedly primitive humans. How did they do it? Demanded the representative from the merchant worlds. We spent millions of credits trying to catch these criminals. A military advisor stepped forward, her holographic form flickering. Analysis suggests Earth employed unexpectedly sophisticated tactics. They let their reputation for technological backwardness work in their favor. The criminals underestimated Earth's defenses and walked right into their traps. In a private chamber adjacent to the main council hall, Ambassador Reed sat with the Council's inner circle, the 5 most powerful members who truly controlled galactic policy. Their earlier arrogance had been replaced by careful calculation. You understand, said First Speaker Mox, the eldest of the circle, this changes the balance of power significantly. Earth was supposed to be a minor member, grateful for our guidance and technology. Reed kept his expression neutral. Earth is grateful for galactic membership. We simply wish to contribute to the Council's goals, like capturing dangerous criminals who threaten galactic peace. A clever way to phrase it, another circle member noted. Just as your tribute delivery was cleverly handled. Meanwhile, aboard the prison transport ships, Director Adams supervised the prisoner transfers. Each criminal was moved with precise security protocols that impressed even the Council's veteran guards. Your containment technology, one of the alien guards commented, watching the energy fields shimmer around a particularly dangerous prisoner. It's not standard Council design. Earth innovation, Adams replied simply. We had to adapt quickly when we realized what kind of criminals were targeting our system. The guard's translation device caught his mumbled response. Perhaps we should have been learning from you, not the other way around. Back on Earth, General Williams received urgent updates from intelligence stations across the solar system. The news was spreading fast through galactic communications channels. Earth's reputation was transforming by the hour. Sir, a communications officer reported, we're receiving messages from 17 different planetary systems. They all want information about our prison security systems. And our defense strategies. And our. I bet they do, Williams said with a grim smile. Send them all the same response. Earth will be happy to discuss technology sharing at the next council session. Once our status is appropriately adjusted. President Thompson's hologram appeared in Williams' office. The Council's inner circle has called for a full renegotiation of Earth's membership terms. They're trying to save face by making it seem like this was their idea all along. Of course they are, Williams replied. And we'll let them. As long as the new terms reflect Earth's true capabilities. There's more, Thompson added. Our sensors just detected 3 ships trying to slip through the outer system defenses. Not criminals this time, Council intelligence agents. Let them come, Williams said. Make sure they trip just enough of our security measures to get a good look. But not everything. Always leave them wondering what else we might have hidden. In orbit, the last of the prisoner transport ships docked with the Council vessels. Ambassador Reed watched the transfers conclude, then prepared for the final phase of Earth's plan. A question, Ambassador, High Commander Dox said quietly, pulling Reed aside. How many more criminals do you have in custody? Beyond these 78? Reed smiled diplomatically. That would be classified information, Commander. Though I'm sure Earth's updated membership status will include protocols for sharing such intelligence. Once the new terms are finalized. Dox's color shifted to a deep purple, recognition and respect in his species. You planned this. All of it. The Council's demand for tribute was an opportunity, Reed finished. One that Earth chose to use for everyone's benefit. The criminals are captured, the Council receives valuable prisoners worth far more than simple resources, and Earth demonstrates its commitment to galactic security. And proves it can't be pushed around, Dox added. That too. As the Council ships prepared to depart with their unexpected cargo, Reed sent one final message to General Williams. Phase 1 complete. The Councils learned their lesson about underestimating Earth. Should we proceed with revealing what else we've been keeping secret? Williams looked at his secure screen, studying the classified files that detailed Earth's other hidden advantages. Not yet. Let them sweat a little first. Sometimes the threat of what might be hidden is more powerful than the revelation itself. After all, humanity hadn't survived this long by showing all their cards at once. Let the Council wonder what other surprises Earth might have in store. That uncertainty would do more to protect Earth than any single revelation. The age of treating Earth as a primitive backwater was over. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity had teeth, and the wisdom to know exactly when to show them. 3 days after the prisoner transfer, Earth's delegation sat in the Council's grand negotiation chamber. The room's crystal walls shifted colors with each speaker's emotions, currently swirling with tense purples and cautious greens. Ambassador Reed and General Williams faced the inner circle, while Director Adams waited nearby with detailed prisoner files. Let's discuss Earth's new status, First Speaker Mox began, trying to project authority despite his species' obvious signs of discomfort. In light of recent developments. Of course, Reed replied smoothly. Though first, Director Adams has some information the Council might find interesting. Adams stepped forward, activating a holographic display. During prisoner processing, we discovered something fascinating. Many of these criminals had Council security codes. Active ones. The chamber's crystals flashed red as the inner circle shifted nervously. Someone high-ranked in the Council was helping these criminals avoid capture, Adams continued. The Blue Star pirate was particularly chatty about his friends in Council leadership. This is outrageous. Second Speaker Trell burst out. You dare accuse Dash. We're not accusing anyone, General Williams interrupted calmly. We're sharing intelligence with our allies. That's what allies do, isn't it? The silence that followed was deafening. Earth's delegation had just played their second trump card. Not only had they caught the galaxy's worst criminals, but they'd also uncovered corruption within the Council itself. Back on Earth, President Thompson watched the negotiations through a secure feed. His military advisors monitored Council ship movements throughout the solar system. The Council had withdrawn most of their fleet, a sign they finally recognized that intimidation wouldn't work against humanity. They're sending messages to their home worlds, a communications officer reported. Lots of encrypted transmissions. Let them talk, Thompson replied. The more they discuss what happened, the more our reputation grows. In the negotiation chamber, first speaker Mox had regained his composure. Perhaps we should focus on the future. Earth has proven more capable than initially assessed. We propose full membership status, with immediate effect. Generous, Reed said. But insufficient. Earth requires 3 additional conditions. The crystals pulsed with surprise as Reed displayed the terms. First, Earth will maintain independent control of its defense systems and prison facilities. No Council oversight. Second, Earth receives full access to Council technology databases, everything, not just the limited selection you've shared so far. Third, Earth gains a permanent seat on the inner circle. Impossible. Third speaker Vax shouted. No new species has ever No new species has ever captured 78 of the galaxy's most wanted criminals, Williams countered. Or uncovered high-level corruption in Council ranks. Or turned a tribute demand into a complete reversal of power dynamics. Director Adams stepped forward again. We should mention that our prisoners are quite eager to testify about their Council connections. We're prepared to begin public hearings immediately. The threat wasn't subtle. If the Council refused Earth's terms, the corruption scandal would become public knowledge throughout the galaxy. First speaker Mox's skin had turned the pale yellow of defeat. The terms are acceptable. Excellent, Reed said. Though there is one more small matter. He activated his own holographic display, showing a massive space station hidden in Earth's asteroid belt. The Council members leaned forward, their eyes widening at the advanced design. Our prison facility is running out of space, Reed explained. We've had to turn away several opportunities to capture more criminals. Perhaps the Council would be interested in funding an expansion? Williams suppressed a smile. They hadn't just turned the tables on the Council, they'd flipped the entire game board. Earth was no longer a primitive world begging for scraps of alien technology. They were now the galaxy's premier experts in criminal apprehension and detention. There's something else you should know, Adams added, introducing yet another twist. Some of our prisoners have provided information about a major threat to galactic security. We've confirmed their intel, but waited to share it until our new status was confirmed. The Council members exchanged worried looks. First speaker Mox's color shifted to decision-making purple. The Council votes to accept all terms. Earth's new status is confirmed. Now, about this threat. We'll brief you fully once the documents are signed, Reed assured them. Earth looks forward to helping the Council face this challenge. As equals. As the formal acceptance was recorded, Williams received a message from President Thompson, well played. How much of this did you plan from the start? All of it, Williams replied. The Council's tribute demand was predictable. Bullies always try to establish dominance early. We just needed to wait for the right moment to show our hand. The crystal walls had shifted to deep blue, the color of a new era beginning. Humanity had turned a threat into an opportunity, weakness into strength, and a demand for tribute into a complete renaissance of their galactic status. As the Council members filed out to announce the new arrangement, first speaker Mox paused beside Reed. You knew, he said quietly. You knew about the corruption, the security codes, everything. You could have exposed it at any time. Reed smiled. On Earth, we have a saying, keep your friends close, and your enemies closer. We needed to understand the game before we changed its rules. The galaxy would never see Earth the same way again. And that was exactly what humanity had planned all along. 1 month after the negotiations, the Council's main chamber looked very different. Earth's flag now hung prominently among the founding members' banners, and Ambassador Reed sat confidently in his new seat on the inner circle. The chamber buzzed with anticipation as Director Adams prepared to reveal the threat their prisoners had exposed. We call them the Shadows, Adams began, activating a holographic display that filled the chamber with dark, shifting images. They've infiltrated every major civilization in the galaxy, including the Council itself. The images showed evidence of a vast criminal network that made even the Blue Star pirate look amateur. Financial records, secret communications, and surveillance footage revealed an organization that had been manipulating galactic politics for centuries. "This is why we kept our prison facility secret," General Williams explained from his position beside the Earth delegation. "We knew the Shadows had spies everywhere. Each criminal we captured was another piece of the puzzle." First Speaker Mox, who had recently been confirmed as untainted by Shadow influence, leaned forward. "How did Earth discover them when our own security forces couldn't?" "Because you were looking for advanced technology and sophisticated methods," Williams replied. "The Shadows hid behind complexity. But Earth..." He smiled. "Earth kept things simple." President Thompson's hologram joined the presentation. "We used basic observation and old-fashioned detective work. The Shadows were so focused on high-tech surveillance that they never noticed our agents watching them through binoculars or tracking them with simple radio signals." The chamber erupted in murmurs as Admiral Jones, Earth's new fleet commander, stepped forward to reveal the next phase of humanity's plan. "We've identified 30 major Shadow bases throughout Council space," Jones announced, highlighting locations on the galactic map. "With the Council's new funding, we've expanded our prison facility to accommodate the coming arrests. All we need is the Council's authorization to proceed." First Speaker Mox looked around the chamber, noting the determined faces of his fellow Council members. The corruption scandal had cleared out most Shadow sympathizers, leaving a leadership genuinely committed to justice. "Authorization granted," Mox declared. "Earth will lead the operation." In orbit above Earth, the prison transport ships were already being retrofitted with enhanced security systems. Director Adams walked through the new facility built into the asteroid belt, inspecting cells designed specifically for Shadow operatives. "The Shadows thought humanity was primitive," she told the Council observers touring the facility. "They never imagined we'd use that assumption against them. While they watched for high-tech threats, we caught their agents using methods so simple they seemed beneath notice." Back in the Council chamber, Reed addressed the assembled representatives. "Earth didn't just join the galactic community to gain technology or trade opportunities. We saw problems that needed solving. The Council's demand for tribute simply gave us the perfect opportunity to show what humanity does best, turning disadvantages into strengths." The chamber's mood had shifted from shocked to impressed. Species that had once looked down on Earth now sought their advice on security matters. The same Council that had demanded tribute was now funding Earth's expansion as their primary defense force. General Williams received update after update as Earth's agents moved against Shadow targets throughout the galaxy. The crime syndicate that had hidden for centuries was being dismantled by the very primitives they had ignored. "Humanity's greatest strength," Williams told the Council's military committee, "was never our technology. It was our ability to adapt, to think differently, and to use our enemies' assumptions against them. The Shadows watched us through advanced sensors, never realizing our strength lay in what those sensors couldn't detect: human intuition and creativity." President Thompson addressed the United Nations, sharing the full story with Earth's population for the first time. When the Council demanded tribute, they thought they were dealing with a simple, primitive world. Instead, they found a civilization that had turned their entire solar system into a trap for the galaxy's worst criminals. Now, that same Council funds our operations and follows our lead in galactic security. In the depths of space, Earth's ships moved against Shadow installations. The crime syndicate's advanced technology proved useless against tactics they had never expected: simple, direct, and devastatingly effective. Director Adams watched from the new prison facility as the first Shadow leaders arrived in custody. "Welcome to Earth's hospitality," she told them. "You'll find we're not quite as primitive as you thought." The galaxy was changing. Earth's rise from demanded tribute to Council leadership had shown every civilization that true strength didn't always come from advanced technology or complex schemes. Sometimes, the most powerful force was the ability to turn an enemy's arrogance into their downfall. Ambassador Reed stood in the Council chamber one final time that day, looking out at the assembled representatives of a galaxy transformed. "The Council once demanded tribute from Earth," he said. "We delivered far more than they expected. We gave them justice, security, and a reminder that no civilization should be judged by appearances alone." The chamber's crystals glowed with colors of respect and unity as Reed concluded. "Earth stands ready to continue serving the galaxy. Not as primitives to be exploited, but as partners in creating a better future." After all, he smiled, that's the tribute humanity has always been prepared to give, not our resources, but our determination to make things right. As the Council session ended, General Williams looked out at Earth from his orbital office. The planet that had once been seen as an easy target for tribute had become the galaxy's guardian. It was proof that humanity's greatest tribute to the galaxy wasn't gold or oil or precious metals. It was the reminder that underestimating humans was always a costly mistake.